HeadSpace Radio. I am back, not because you wanted me to be, because I have nothing better to do. Welcome to those who are just listening in and those who have been listening. If you're seeing this on a new platform, like TikTok, that is right. I am now on TikTok. That's right. TikTok. It's not for kids anymore. It's an app where grown folks use now and complain about men and women and politics and all types of stuff. But yeah, man, listen. All right. You'll jump in, and what I mean by we, I mean by me. So this one is something near and dear to my heart, but to a lot of people as well. Winning the lottery. Winning the lottery. I know they say you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning, maybe twice or maybe once. Same difference, really. But winning the lottery is the biggest gift and curse all in one, because you've never experienced that type of money before, one. Two, the personality change, not of just you, but the people around you. And three, you don't know how to manage this money. And four, this paranoia that you have, that you will gain. I guarantee you. And I believe, again, the safety, These are very important things. And I think that this is a topic, not because the chances of you winning the lottery is possible, but it kind of gives us an ease in today's economic climate, Like, a lot of people aren't doing so well financially, and sometimes they need that bump. Not drugs. Calm down. I mean, that bump, that boost of morale, in a sense. That tax on the poor. The imagination of winning something so big that you can call your boss and say, I'm not coming in. Or if you don't have a job, you're like, okay, cool, I'm never working ever again. Maybe you pay off your bills. Maybe you leave the relationship you're in. I'm not here to judge you. Maybe you get married. Who knows? Do things you've never done before. But, I guess today we're just going to talk about what to do or what not to do. Or my opinion, I should say. I am not an expert. I haven't won the lottery. But, yeah. I think this is something that people like to talk about or think about, because it's a good idea. Like, you had a shit day or a bad day at work, and, you're like, if I won, let's say, the Powerball or the Lotto Max or whatever they got over there in Europe or London or whatever, or Australia, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, So I would say that, winning this lottery thing, just thinking about it, let's say you won $50 million. How many of us have $50,000 in our bank right now? You know what I mean? Well, let's break this down a bit more before we get into the big stuff. Like, imagine, let's say the average man or woman makes about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. And let's just say someone just hands you your yearly salary and says, there you go, do whatever you want with that. What are you going to do? Does that money disappear within 90 days, a month? Do you pay off bills, your mortgage? What do you do? Do you go on vacation? Do you quit your job? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the money management aspect of winning something kind of exposes us, because, let me bring this in even to a smaller level. Like, let's say, for example, you're in a casino, and let's say you've played blackjack or poker, or let's just say it's the slot machines or roulette. You win, I don't know, let's say you walked in there with like $100 or $50 or $200, and you win at roulette, and oh my God, it's crazy, you win $10,000. $10,000, I don't care who you are, that's a lot of money. I know money's relative, but that's a lot of money. what do you do with that money? How do you manage that money? You know what I'm saying? Is it here today, gone tomorrow? Do you start buying silly stuff with it that you wouldn't have bought normally? Do you feel a little paranoid walking out of the casino? And I think that's a very important question to ask, because you're multiplying that by like thousands of dollars. And that little feeling you have when you won $10,000, which is a lot of money to the regular man and woman, and then they hand that money to you and they walk you to your car, or they just give it to you and then you just leave. You know, one, you feel a little paranoid. Two, people see that you've won the money. And three, you're like, oh crap, like I gotta get out of here. And then once you're in, out of harm's way, that feeling in the back of your head, you've won something and you're like, okay, well, shoot, how do I spend this? What do I do? Do I invest it? How do I invest it? What do you do? How do you manage it? And I think winning that type of money versus large amounts of money or getting paid weekly kind of exposes a modern man or woman to what might be an underlining aspect that they don't really understand, is that we might be horrible with managing our money. Not all of us, but a decent portion of us, especially when you think that this thing is almost unlimited, or it's highly unlikely that you would spend all of it, It's crazy because a lot of lottery winners end up going broke. And not only do they end up going broke, they actually end up being worse off than they were before they won. So just imagine your current situation right now, and you won, I don't know, $10 million, only to find out within a year or two, or let's say 5, now you're currently in the same situation that you are in now, but worse. Let's say now you're in debt. You want to get like a consumer proposal, but you can't even afford to maintain the payments. Your house is, there's a lien against your house, or you can't afford the mortgage, let alone the rent if you're renting. Life insurance, car insurance, every insurance is expensive. You can't afford any of it. It's a wreck, right? What do you do? And I think that we kind of have to pace ourselves. It's good to have the dream, to do certain things that you haven't done before, go to places you haven't gone before. But like, damn it, man. Could you imagine? Like, currently right now, let's say you're not doing the best right now. We are currently in, whether you like it or not, Trump's America. We are currently in Mark Carney's Canada, whether you like that or not, whether you like Trump or not, or whoever's over there in the UK and Australia. Yo, listen, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Whether you voted for this or not, it ain't easy. And we can all agree. And it don't look like it's gonna get any better anytime soon. So this is one of those podcasts where we can just dream together and imagine. And you can sound off in the comment section what you would do to maintain the winnings of the money. 2, how would you invest the money? And 3, what are the guilty pleasures you would use the money for? And would you donate some money? Would you, give some money to family? How would you do, what would you do with that? And I think that's another aspect that is a big issue. Friends and family, the people that have been with you since day one, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, those people, them people, great people, or maybe you have a horrible relationship with them. Who knows? I don't know. But let's say the relationship is okay. Now you've won $10 million. The relationship might change. Because, listen, there might be resentment. There might be, things that you might not be aware of that people have towards you, but they hide it very well. Or maybe you change. And who's to say you don't change? Because at the end of the day, your circumstance changes. And you are probably a product of your environment. I'm not saying your environment makes who you are, but there's a likelihood that it could be. So you've now made money or gotten money, gained money, won money, and you are like, I got to get out of this area because it's kind of crazy. Roaches in my apartment, mice in my apartment, sketchy people walking around. Wow, I got to leave. Now, if you live in Canada, and I'm pretty sure it might be the same as it is in America, housing is very expensive. It is horrible, especially in the Toronto area, the GTA, Greater Toronto area, or in Toronto. $2 million can get you a shed, a backyard shed, and no amenities, nothing, not even a plug to plug in anything to charge your phone. That's how crazy it is in Toronto. And I know housing prices are decreasing only because no one is able to afford the prices they set them at. So that's a little game they play. Don't let them fool you. You can't afford shit here. So you probably want to relocate. And I totally get that. Depending on how you've won this money, they plastered your face all over the place because it's marketing. They can't just say random one. I mean, you can speak to a lawyer and then undisclose your information. I think they take a percentage of it. I don't know. Don't ask me about that. I haven't won, allegedly. But let's say you have your face plastered on there. You couldn't wait. You just, boom, they find out, okay, I bought it at this grocery store or corner store. I use my debit card or credit card, and boom, it's legit. Take a picture. Woohoo. Okay. So, your family gonna be calling you up like crazy. Your girlfriend, your ex-boyfriend, whoever. All of a sudden, like if you're a dude, I feel like in this day and age, and I'm not hating on women, I'm not like a red pill manosphere guy. I just feel as if you had a horrible date in the past or an ex-girlfriend that you don't like, maybe it was your fault that she hates you. That's fine. Some people in the past will probably come back and haunt the hell out of you. Give me one moment, guys. Sorry about that. I am officially back. I had to talk to my supervisor. What I mean by that, well, it's not my supervisor. I'm talking to my girlfriend, but, she's like, whatever. I'm not trying to get into that. But anyways, lottery talk. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this video is sponsored by nobody. That's right. No one sponsors my shit. So, okay, we're going to continue. All right. So I was talking about family and moving to a secure location. I'm not against people moving. I think that if you win the lottery or have a large amount of money, you become a target because it's all about the haves and the have-nots. Whether it was won or gained or earned, people aren't doing so well. Even if people were doing a little bit better, people would probably say, hey, I want what you have, right? There's videos of family members turning around on their best friends, their loved ones, their cousins, their nephews, their nieces, their brothers, their sisters, lining them up to get killed or beaten or robbed. There's this hate towards people that money changes people or it reveals who they really are. And that's kind of messed up. I mean, it's the blessing, but what comes with the blessing is a lot of curses. So I think if you were a millionaire and you've gotten it through grind and hustle and grit and whatnot, I feel like you slowly ease into that circumstance where people then all of a sudden start to act differently. Let's say you tell your cousin or your nephew or your girlfriend that you're starting a business and, half of them say, yeah, good luck, buddy. That's never going to happen. And it starts to happen. Not all at once, but it starts to happen, starts to see some movement. All of a sudden, people that they thought they were better than you or felt like you can do good, but you can't be doing better than me, all of a sudden now have a problem with you succeeding at this venture that you are doing, you know? So then you see it, the way people change. All of a sudden, the people that said, no way in hell that's going to happen, or no way in hell that's going to work. And why would anyone do that? That's a dumb idea. All of a sudden, slowly but surely turn their opinions and their ideas around. And then some people want to then pitch their idea to you. Some people said, I didn't say what I said. They backtrack, they backpedal. And then there are other people that are just like, it's still not going to work. You know, they're haters and they don't want to see you win, you know. But if you have haters, that means you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? With this lottery thing, everything is so instant gratification versus delayed gratification. You know, things that happen in an instant, the people that you would have realized were, you know, on their own wavelength, or didn't like you, or don't mess with you, or think you're a fool, they can easily switch up and be like, yo, that's cool. Yo, I need a hookup. Yo, you know what I'm saying? And you might actually spend all your money helping these people, and in return, hey man, I don't know where the money went. Yo, honestly, I spent it all. You know what I mean? Where if you gradually earn the money, you can kind of see the behavior shift, the changing of the people, the minds of how people operate and act and treat you. I think that's very important. I think that we have to, you know, if in general, really have to see how people treat us and, you know, how they go about doing so. You know, I think it's very important. Our observation skills need to be at a 10 at all times. And that's the thing, man. Anyone can switch up. It could be your mother. You know, it could be your father. It could be your sister. Shoot, it could be your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You know, all these things could change. Your relationships change. I mean, you change too. And it's very important. Like, let's say, for example, you start a business. You have a journal. I have a journal. You know, I thought it was like girly to start doing, you know, journal. And it's not. You know, I don't know why I believe that. But I don't start every chapter in my journal with Dear Diary. You know, it's crazy. But, Hollywood. So you write that stuff down, and yeah, my bad. I am getting harassed today. It is insane. I don't know, my audio is going so well right now, but I apologize for any delays and, craziness. But like, yeah, it's just, you can't trust people. You know, the people you thought you could trust, all of a sudden it changes, you know, and you don't know what to do. That's the second aspect of this. A third aspect is, you know, where do you put your money? How do you invest? You know, you put the 10 million, the 40 million, the 100 million all in one bank account. I don't know. That's a smart idea. I think, was it FDIC insurance through banks? I think they only cover a certain amount. So you got to spread your money around. And then not only that, whether you're trying to invest in, whether it's Apple or BlackBerry or an EV or anything like that. Obviously, I put out some names out there that make you guys lose your minds, but don't do that. Don't do that. You know, I'm just saying. Whether it's those companies or the S&P 500, whether it's REITs, real estate investment trusts, you know, whether it's the Vanguard, all that stuff, you know, like, do you go seek out a financial advisor? How do you trust the financial advisor? Who's to say that that person is not going to try to rob you? How often do you meet with this financial advisor? Do you get a trust? Do you take everything out of your name? Do you put it in the trust's name or your grandma's name that you trust her? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? And I think these lessons that I'm asking questions, the questions that I'm asking, I should say, are very important questions for just people in general that are just living their day to day. You know, you don't have to win the lottery to think about doing these things. You know what I'm saying? You could do these things right now, but I know it's either between not making enough money or making enough, you're just not spending it right, right? So those are two things that are going on. And, you know, like I said, I don't got all the answers. I'm just a guy with a microphone in his hand talking smack. I mean, these are questions to ask, no? Like, could you imagine, like, you just put all your money in, like, Wells Fargo or, like, TD Bank? And then just like that, Wells Fargo or, you know, TD Bank turns out to be the next, what was it, the Lehman Brothers? You're just like, where's my money? What money? You're going to lose your shit. Oh, my God. Oh, man, I don't wish that on my worst enemy, man. That is crazy. Oh, man, imagine that. Like, you got your money, you know, spread out. You know, you got to put your money in different bank accounts and different vehicles, you know, stuff like that, right? And vehicles, I don't mean like Honda Civics or like Lamborghinis. I mean like, you know, what does this bank account do? What does this thing do? You know what I'm saying? Don't get your advice from me, ladies and gentlemen. Clearly, you probably have more money than me, so don't be out here and be like, yo, he's right. He's right. No, I ain't shit, bro. Don't listen to me. But yo, what the heck, man? So you win the lottery, your face is plastered, your family's acting a little different. You move. Where do you move? You move to the suburbs. Houses are expensive in the suburbs. You know, just because you live in the suburbs don't mean you free from getting robbed or beaten up or killed. You know what I'm saying? Streets talk, man. They find out where people live. It's just like I was watching this thing where previous millionaires that won the lottery, people that won the lottery, I should say, that became millionaires, yo, they moved their home. They left, like their apartment, bought a house somewhere. And within like the next day, they had like thousands of letters in the mail talking about, hey, I need to go. I'm going through chemo. I need this. I need $1 million for this. I'm trying to start up a business that can, like, you know, do this for the environment, stuff like that. And it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You can't help everyone because not everyone needs your help. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, it's just you end up being broke at the end of the day. So you gotta have to make sure that you help yourself. I'm not saying don't help people. I'm just saying you also gotta be a bit charitable. You know, you gotta pay it forward. You know, you gotta help those who are in need. You can't just throw all the money to yourself and say, F it, I'm leaving this country. I mean, you could. I'm thinking about that right now, to be honest, man. Yo, this country, Jack, it's messed up right now, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, I love this country with all my heart, but damn it, man, if I had the money and the means, yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. It's been an honor. The hell, you know, I'll be like in Tahiti. Well, I don't even know what Tahiti is, but people say it's nice, you know, or Turks and Caicos, or the Bahamas, or was it Spain? Spain good? Maybe Ghana. I don't know. People say the Philippines. Some people say Thailand. I'm gonna speak on Thailand. I don't think I'd ever go to Thailand. No. I don't think I'd live in Thailand. I think I'd visit Thailand with like my girlfriend and kid. But I'm not one of these guys that like go there for those reasons. We could talk about those reasons later. But essentially, yeah, okay, so the lottery, man. You move, your face is everywhere, you try to help your family out, you invest your money. I feel like we're missing something here. And I feel like there's more to, like, there's so much more you can do. And I feel like there's so much more that we're not thinking of because we're not in a situation, we're not in a circumstance. And I feel like, you know, pleasure, right now, pleasure. What would you do? Like, you're allowed to have some fun with this money or all the fun you want with this money. Do you buy, you know, the fastest cars? Do you buy a luxury car? Do you buy a boat? Do you buy a house, a big house? Like, what do you do? Like, it's up to you. That's the thing about free will. You're able to do whatever the hell you want within the means that you have. But at the same time, these things have maintenance costs. If you buy a big mansion and you want like $50 million, what's the property tax? This thing's got a crack in the ceiling. How much does it take to take care of that? This beautiful light on the top of my house is going to cost me how much $1,000 to replace? You know what I'm saying? We got money, but we got the poor mindset and we don't know how to store the money, So within time, even if we maintain the house to a certain degree, when we lose the money, we try to sell the house, we only getting pennies or a percentage of what the house is worth or what you paid for. So this is tough, man. This is a double-edged sword. I'm definitely going to make this a series. This is part 1 of what would you do if you won the lottery? What would you guys do if you won the lottery? What are the things that you have done? Leave a comment below, share the video, and, give me number 1, 2, 3, 4.